I suddenly realized that my husband, who is over 50, wants to share the same room with me every night. At first, I thought it was a sign of his deep love for me. However, on the day my father was critically ill and passed away, I couldn't reach him at all. Even more unexpectedly, my best friend sent me a message from abroad. She said she saw my husband hugging another woman in Paris. What shocked me was that the person in the photo hugging him turned out to be my aunt. Filled with suspicion, I entered my husband's study for the first time. To my horror, I found the walls covered with intimate photos of him and my aunt. It was as if they were the sweet couple. The diary on the desk explained the entire truth to me. My husband wrote in his notes that he had only been in love twice in his life. One was my aunt, and the other was me. But I was just a substitute for my aunt. It turned out that my aunt and my husband used to be a couple. They couldn't be together because my aunt went abroad. And I, just because I look exactly like my aunt, was carefully arranged into an accidental encounter by him. Unaware of the truth, I fell in love at first sight with this man more than 10 years my senior. I considered him my everything. For 3 years after marriage, life seemed happy and blissful, and I even got pregnant. But I never expected that the reason my husband was so eager to have a child wasn't because he loved me, but to make me pregnant as soon as possible with a child that would resemble my aunt. Learning the truth, I felt nothing but irony. I touched the baby in my womb and resolutely decided to leave this house full of lies. The next day, I handed him the divorce papers and the abortion consent form. He signed them without even looking. Little did he know that this day would make him regret it for the rest of his life. After the surgery, I returned home weekly, and my husband didn't notice a thing. He even said gently that he would stay home with me and the baby all week. But he didn't know our child was already gone. Just then, my brother called saying my aunt had returned to the country and wanted to invite the family for a meal. I tried to decline due to physical discomfort, but my husband snatched the phone and eagerly agreed. I knew he was desperate to see my aunt. At the meal, my aunt seemed very surprised to see my husband. She hadn't expected her ex-boyfriend to become her niece's husband. My aunt tried her best to hide their past, but his gaze never left her. During the meal, he kept serving me seafood, completely forgetting that, as a pregnant woman, I couldn't eat it. His mind was only filled with my aunt's preferences. At night, after I fell asleep, he secretly went to find my aunt again. He begged her not to go abroad anymore. However, my aunt, aware of her position, hurriedly refused, and advised him to treat me well, unwilling to entangle with him further. But he stubbornly told my aunt that he only saw me as her substitute. Even his kindness to me was only because I have a face like hers. Then, he even excitedly told my aunt that he had already thought of a name for the soon-to-be born child. It would be a combination of his and my aunt's names, symbolizing that they would be together forever. But he didn't know I had already woken up and heard their entire conversation. This severed the last bit of hope I had. Fortunately, a few days later, I received a notification of successful change of personal information. This meant I could leave completely very soon.